I got these from Summit. They come wrapped like this, and this is the box they both come in. They came in just their packaging. It was pretty good. I did have an ear poke through there, but it didn't get bent or anything, so it's all good. Here's the passenger side installed. I did it exactly like this. The car was just on one ramp, and I didn't even have the back tire jacked up. That was high enough just to snake those on in there. The issues I had over here were kind of minimal. The battery cable, the way it was before, was looped, and it was pushing against this, so it would have melted in a heartbeat. So to fix that, I had to go through the whole drive shaft, undo all those clips, and pull out the slack. After I get a couple heat cycles through this thing, I'm gonna wrap this to keep this. The battery cable is still pretty close. The other problem I had was with these heater hoses were up against it also, so I took a zip tie and just zip tied it to an AC line for now until I can figure out something better. This was an L48, so my dipstick is on the same side as the starter, which is a pain in the butt to deal with. But this is the only piece that's really needed to do the headers over here. I guess I got the smaller air condition, so it fits in there just fine. Just need that piece, which is I used off my old headers. So the passenger side wasn't too terribly bad. I snuck it all the way up here with the plastic on it, the shipping plastic, and then I just cut it, bolted it up, and after that I just pulled the whole plastic off through the outside. As far as the fitment down here goes, it's pretty good. I don't know if my camera can show it, but it's not hitting the body nor the frame. Sorry, it's just hard to see, but the clearance is good on this side. They just pretty good too. I didn't scratch them up too bad getting them in. There are a couple that I gotta probably touch up, and then I'll burn it in for 10 minutes like they say, and then another heat cycle. When I was under there, I noticed that this ground cable by the starter to the motor mount it's kind of wasted, so I'm gonna replace that also. As far as these things hanging down, they really don't hang much lower than the frame. I mean, obviously I don't have the rocker panel on, and underneath, besides the starter there, they're not eating up a lot of room. It's kind of hard. The starter is a pain in the butt to deal with. But it's not too bad. That's where that ground cable goes, and that goes to the block. So I should be able to install that no problem. I did also replace my oil pan gasket. I had all this off with a Felpro one piece, and I did the rear main also. It was fairly standard. I did have to drop the idler arm, which right back there, to take the pan off, and now, I mean, there's no room to really get a torque wrench back in there, so I guess you just have to do it by feel, unless you want to drop the headers, if you ever want to torque those down to the right setting. I'm doing this without taking off the alternator so far. I haven't seen a need yet for it. They claim that I need a new alternator bracket for this setup. I'm not sure. If I do need one, I'll obviously fill you in on it. That's part of the Z-bar. I still need to remove that. I'm also going to, since I have this part POR, this motor mount part, and but yeah, I don't know about the alternator. I'm leaving it stock for now. I had these blocks from a project around the house. I used those to hold up the side pipes and to make it a one-man job. It was pretty simple actually, with using those blocks. Just showing you how I sneak these up here with the plastic still on them, and just use some wood I have just to support them. These are not bolted or anything yet, they're completely loose, but this is how you make it a one-person job is all. I had to remove the Z-bar clutch cross shaft to get those in. It's not too bad. You just basically remove the C-clip or the cotter pin from here, and then there's a bolt here, and other than that, it just pops right out. I think it's easiest to go in through whatever you want to call this, the gills. Right here, I did take off the bracket. I got a POR that there. Once you got it off, it's not too bad. There's the ball. I decided to rebuild the Z-bar. Well, I got all this apart since I had to take it out anyway. So here it is with just 2 bolts holding it on. Just on ramps, rear tires on the ground, and just got those blocks to hold it up. Alright, I got those in and took off the plastic there, but I do have a problem. It's contacting the body right here, so looks like I'm gonna have to drop them a little bit and get out my Dremel. Oh my god, these mosquitoes. Okay, the driver's side is not being so easy. I had to cut those pieces off there to get this part to fit. And after that, now I have this issue to where it hits the frame all right here. So I may have to dimple that. Just hang in there, it's not too bad. It's only this, which is the number 3 primary, I think. The other 3 are fine. As far as fitting in there and their clearance, it's just that one. The other issue I have is the number 1. I don't know. See it. It's kind of hard to see, but it's really, really, really close to the steering box. So I think I'm going to have to drop these out and dimple that area right there. I was planning on wrapping them, but I'm not even sure wrap would even fit between those. I think they're touching. So driver side's not so much fun. I don't know what they were talking about needing a different alternator bracket. I've never even pulled this thing out, and it seems to fit just fine. Alright, here it is. I pulled it out again. I did mark with some white paint, kind of where it was. It needs to be dimpled. Pretty much what I'm going to do is I may hit it with some heat, but take a pipe here and I'll hit the pipe with the hammer and try to dimple that in. Like I said, might hit it with a little bit of heat. This side's not too bad. I'll only do this a little bit because it's not too bad there. Okay, this is after I dimpled it. I didn't do this side too deep. It was still a 1/4 inch away. But the steering box part, yeah, it's right there. I dimpled it pretty good. I think that should clear it. If not, I'll pull it out again and redo it. I mean, unfortunately, I had to beat on these and it jacked up the paint, so I do have some of that stuff. I'll touch it up before it goes back on. Alright, here it is after dimpling. Now, at least when I move it, it doesn't hit the frame anymore. As far as over here with the steering box, see if I can get that. Now there's clearance, so I can wrap these now and not worry too much about anything else. Everything else seems to be, well, it's hard with this stupid camera, but everything else seems to be clearing everything just fine. It does make it interesting to work in here now. Now, if you ever need to do the oil pan gasket, that's super simple. Anyway, so well, removing the evap canister made it a whole lot easier to work on. Yeah, I had to drop the headers again to fit it back in there. It wouldn't fit, so I had to lower the headers again to get the whole evap canister back in there. Oops. Okay, I'm gonna fire it up for the first time since installing these. Hopefully I got everything done. I did a lot of things besides the exhaust. I did the rear main seal and the oil pan gasket and a few other things, so hopefully this won't be a disaster. Alright, here goes nothing.